Today is the 2nd of September, and this is the second night we're talking the Theragatha. Now we come to the pairs of verses, verse 1 to 1 by Uttara. There is no permanent existence, nor are the constituent elements eternal. The elements of existence arise and pass away repeatedly. 122. Knowing this peril, I am not concerned with existence. Being detached from all sensual pleasures, I have gained the annihilation of the asavas. 123. This by Pindola Bharadvaja. This holy life is not lived by fasting. Food does not produce peace for the heart. Seeing that the body subsists upon food, I go searching. 124. They know that this respect and homage in high-born families is truly a bog, or a swamp. A fine dart, hard to extract. Honor is hard for a worthless man to give up. So if a person don't really understand the Dhamma, then when he gets honor, he is very happy. But person on the spiritual path is not bothered about honor or fame. And this holy life is also, you don't live the holy life by fasting. It's unproductive. You need food, but only thing don't have to be attached to food. 125, Valya. A monkey having approached the 5-doored small hut goes round and round from door to door, knocking again and again. 126. Stand still, monkey, do not run. For this is not for you as it was before. You are restrained by wisdom. You will not go far from here. I guess this 5-doored small hut refers to the body. The 5 doors are the 5 senses, 5 sense doors. And we go from one door to another through the seeing, hearing, smelling, taste and touch. 127, Ganga Tiriya. My hut was made of 3 palm leaves on the bank of the Ganges. My bowl was only a funeral pot. My robe a rag from a dust heap. 128. In 2 rainy seasons, I uttered only one word. In the 3rd rainy season, the mass of darkness was torn asunder. 2 rainy seasons, the Pali word is Vasa. Vasa refers to the rainy season. It also refers to the year. So in 2 years, he only uttered one word. The 3rd year, he attained liberation. He's a very serious monk. Only 3 palm leaves as his hut. Very few monks can do this. 129, Ajina. Even if one has the triple knowledge, has left death behind, and is without asavas, ignorant fools despise him as being unknown. 130. But whatever worldly individual obtains food and drink in this world, he is honored by them, even if he is of an evil nature. So, ascetic might be an arahant, but because he is unknown, sometimes people look down on him. 131. Melajina. When I heard the teacher uttering the Dhamma, I was not aware of having any doubt in the omniscient unconquered one. 132. In the caravan leader, the great hero, the best and foremost of charioteers, no doubt exists in me with regard to the road or the path. So he has this yoniso manasikara. When he listened to the Dhamma, he understood. And no more doubts. 133, Radha. Just as rain penetrates a badly thatched house, so desire penetrates an undeveloped mind. 134, just as rain does not penetrate a well-thatched house, so desire does not penetrate a well-developed mind. A well-developed mind is one which rid of the 5 hindrances, that means has attained at least the first jhana. 135, Surada. My possibility of rebirth is now annihilated. The conqueror's teaching has been lifted out. What is called the net has been eliminated. That which leads to renewed existence has been rooted out. 136. I have attained that goal for which I went forth from the home to the homeless state, the annihilation of all fetters. 137. Gotama. At ease sleep the sages who are not bound to women, among whom truly always to be guarded. Truth is very hard to find. 138. We have caused your death, sensual pleasure. Now we are not in your debt. Now we go to quenching, where having gone, one does not grieve. 139. Vassava. First he kills himself, afterwards he kills others. He kills himself well dead, as a fowler with a decoy. 140. A Brahmana does not have his color on the outside, or a Brahmana has his color on the inside. He truly is black, in whom are evil deeds, Sujampati. He kills himself, I guess he kills his ego, and then afterwards he kills others, the attachment to others. Once he has killed the self, then all the mind also is killed. And his real color is inside, his real essence, you can't see from the outside. 141. Mahachunda. Desire to hear increases hearing. Hearing is an increaser of wisdom. By wisdom one knows the goal. The goal, when known, brings happiness. 142. One should make use of solitary beds and seats. One should practice release from fetters. If one does not gain contentment there, one should dwell in the Sangha with self-guarded, possessed of mindfulness. So this hearing refers to hearing the Dhamma, then wisdom increases. And if one cannot live the solitary life for some reason, maybe the mind is too disturbed, cannot settle down, or a person is too old, cannot live in the forest alone, then he should stay with the Sangha. 143. Joti Dasa. Those people of harsh effort who molest men with an action involving nooses and varying in aims are treated in the same way, for their action does not perish. 144. Whatever action a man does, good or evil, he is the heir of whatever action he does. 145. Hiranya Kani. Days and nights pass by. Life is brought to a halt. The life of mortals is exhausted like the water of small streams. 146. But while doing evil actions, the fool does not understand that afterwards it is bitter for him. Truly his fruit is evil. 147. Soma Mitta. Just as one climbing onto a small plank would sink in the great ocean, so even one who lives a virtuous life sinks if he depends upon an inactive man. Therefore, one should avoid that inactive man or lazy man who is lacking in energy. 148. One should dwell with those clever ones who live apart, the noble, resolute meditators who are continually putting forth energy. So, as before, should not keep company with a fool. 149. Sabbamitta. People are bound to people. People depend on people. People are hurt by people, and people hurt people. 150. What need then has one of people, or those born of people? Go, leaving these people who have hurt many people. So we are attached to relatives and friends. If we want to practice the holy path to end attachment and suffering, we have to leave them. 151. Mahakala. The large swarthy woman like a crow, having broken a thigh bone, and then another, having broken an arm, and then another, having broken a skull like a cur's bone, is seated, having heaped them together. 152. The fool who, being ignorant, makes a basis for rebirth comes to pain again and again. Therefore, one who knows should not make a basis for rebirth. May I never lie again with my skull broken. I don't know who is this woman. Maybe she goes to the cemetery and collects the bones. 153, Tissa, with shaven head, wearing his outer robe, obtaining food, drink, clothes and bed, he gets many enemies. 154, knowing this fearful peril in honors, a monk should go forth, receiving little gain, without lust, mindful. 155, Kimbila, in the Pachina Vangsa grove, companions of the Sakin clan, having given up no small store of wealth, delighting in whatever comes into their alms bowls. 156, putting forth energy, resolute, always of strong effort, delight in contentment in the Dhamma, having given up worldly contentment. 157, Nanda, because of unreasoned thinking, I was addicted to ornament, I was conceited, vain, and afflicted by desire for sensual pleasures. 158, with the aid of the Buddha, skilled in means, kinsman of the sun, I, practicing properly, plucked out my mind for existence. 159, Sirimat, if others praise him and the self is not concentrated, others praise in vain, for the self is not concentrated. 160, if others blame him and the self is well concentrated, others blame in vain, for the self is well concentrated. You find the Arahants are always, they value concentration very much. 161, Uttara, I know the elements of existence. My craving has been completely rooted out. My constituents of enlightenment have been developed. I have gained the annihilation of the asavas. 162, this same I, knowing the elements of existence, having plucked out the ensnarer, having developed the constituents of enlightenment, shall be quenched without asavas. 163, that king was called Panada. It's by Badaji. That king was called Panada, whose pillar, made of gold, was 16 arrow lengths across, in height 1,000-fold. 164. It was 1,000 arrow lengths high, and had 100 ball ornaments. It was covered with banners and made of gold, and 7 times 6,000 musicians danced there. This maybe later you find more verses, and this one you can't understand what's going on. 165, Sobita, being a wise monk, possessed of mindfulness, putting forth power and energy, in one night I recollected 500 aeons or world cycles. 166, developing the 4 intense states of mindfulness and the 7 bojjhangas and the 8 factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. In one night I recollected 500 world cycles. That's a pretty long time. So he took 12 hours to contemplate the past. 167, Valya. What is to be done by one of strong energy? What is to be done by one wishing to gain enlightenment? That I shall do. I shall not fail. See my energy and effort. 168. And do you show me the straight path which plunges into the undying? By sagehood I shall know it, as a stream of Ganges will eventually know the sea. These Arahants, they have supreme willpower, otherwise cannot attain. 169, Vita Soka. I thought, I shall shave my hair. The barber approached. Then taking a mirror, I considered my body. 170, my body seemed empty. In my state of mental blindness, the darkness of ignorance disappeared. All top knots have been cut off. There is now no renewed existence. This person must have already attained the 4 jhanas, about to shave his head, he attained enlightenment. 171, Punna Masa, leaving the 5 hindrances in order to attain rest from exertion, taking the Dhamma as a mirror, the seeing and knowing of the self. 172, I considered this whole body inside and out, both inside and out the body and outside the body seem empty. Nandaka, 173, just as a noble thoroughbred, having stumbled, stands firm again, and making a violent effort again, draws its burden undaunted. 174. So should you consider me as one possessed of insight, a disciple of the fully enlightened one, the Buddha's own thoroughbred son. Then Bharata says, 175, Come, Nandaka, let us go into the presence of the preceptor. We shall roar the lion's roar, face to face with the best of the Buddhas. 176. We have now attained the goal for which, in compassion for us, the sage made us go forth, the annihilation of all fetters. Bharadvaja, 177. Thus the wise roar, like lions in a mountain cave, heroes, victorious in battle, having conquered Mara and his elephant. The teacher has been waited on by me. The Dhamma and the Sangha have been honored. I am happy and joyful seeing my son without asavas. So this Nandaka, probably he came to inform Bharata that he attained liberation. And Bharata also had already attained liberation. So Bharata said, come, let us go and see our preceptor and roar our lion's roar. And then I went to the preceptor, probably is this Bharadvaja. And he was very happy. He said, I am happy and joyful seeing my son without asavas. Kanha Dina, 179. Good men have been served. The teachings have been heard repeatedly. Having heard them, I entered on the straight path which plunges into the undying. 180. Desire for existence is not found again in me. Since I have smitten desire for existence, it was not and will not be in me, and is not found in me now. This last part now, it was not and will not be in me, and is not found in me now. This we came across in the Samyutta Nikaya. There are a few interpretations for this. But since we already saw in the Samyutta Nikaya, we don't discuss it here. Migasira, 181. Since I went forth in the teaching of the fully enlightened one, in the act of being released, I rose up. I overcame the element of sensual pleasure. 182. Then while Brahma was looking on, my mind was released. My release is unshakable because of the annihilation of all fetters. Sivaka, 183. Little houses are impermanent. Here and there, again and again. I have sought that house builder. Rebirth again and again is painful. 184. You are seen, house builder. You will not build a house again. All your rafters are broken. Your gables are torn asunder. The mind, brought to an end, will blow out in this very existence. What he's saying here a bit is like what the Buddha said. You are seen, house builder. You will not build this house again. Upavana, 185. The Arahant, the welfarer in the world, the sage, is troubled by winds. If there is hot water, to give it to the sage, Brahmin. 186. I wish to bring it to him who is honored by those who are to be honored, revered by those who are to be revered, respected by those who are to be respected. This one is in an earlier sutta we came across, possibly in the Samyutta Nikaya. One night, the Buddha had winds. This Buddha and the Arahant disciples. In those days, sometimes they beg for their food, sometimes they get, sometimes they don't get. They're not so fortunate like us nowadays. So because of that, many of the Arahants had this gastric problems, winds and all that. So the Buddha that night, he was troubled with winds. So he asked this monk Upavana, who was his attendant, to go and look for hot water. So this monk went to the house, to the nearest house, probably, and there was a Brahmin's house, and he asked the Brahmin for hot water to give to his teacher. Then the Brahmin brought him hot water as well as, I think, molasses or something. Isi Dina, 187. I have seen lay followers, experts in the Dhamma, saying, sensual pleasures are impermanent, but they are passionately devoted to jewel earrings because of their regard for children and wives. 188. Truly, they do not know the Dhamma as it really is, even though they say sensual pleasures are impermanent. They have no power to cut their desire. Therefore, they are attached to children, wives, and wealth. This is true of a lot of lay people. They study the Dhamma and then they say they know the Dhamma, but they cannot give up their attachments. It shows that they don't know the Dhamma. 189. Sambula Kachana. The sky rains and the sky thunders, and I dwell alone in a fearful hole. But while I dwell in a fearful hole, I have no fear, no consternation, no excitement. 190. This is my normal state when I am dwelling alone in a fearful hole. I have no fear, no consternation, no excitement. What is this fearful hole? It's probably a cave. I've gone to some cave in Thailand where you go in. Sometimes it goes in very deep. And when it goes in very deep, you dare not go in because you are quite sure inside those deep holes there are big pythons. So some of these caves, you live alone there, it's quite frightening. Anytime these big pythons can come. Just like I was staying in this big cave in Ratchaburi one night. In the middle of the night, 2 or 3 a.m., a big python passed by my side. And you know it's big because it drags his body and stop. Drag the body and stop. So it's fearful. Khuddaka 191. Whose mind stands like a rock and does not quiver, unattached to lustful things, is not shaken amidst the shaking world. Whence will pain come to him whose mind is developed? 192. My mind stands like a rock and does not quiver, unattached to lustful things. It is not shaken amidst the shaking world. My mind is thus developed. Whence will pain come to me? Sona Potiriya Putta. 193. Night with its garland of lunar mansions is not just for sleeping. This night is for staying awake for one who knows. 194. If an elephant should trample upon me when I had fallen from the shoulder of my elephant in battle, death would be better than that I should live defeated. So certain nights, they're so starry, looks like a garland of lunar mansions. So he says, it's better to die in battle than to live defeated. In other words, put forth energy and willing to die. But then even you put forth energy, willing to die, you must use wisdom also. You have a good chance of winning, then only you strive on. Nisaba 195. Giving up the 5 strands of sensual pleasures, delightful in form, pleasing the mind, in faith, having gone forth from the home, one should put an end to pain. 196. I do not long for death, I do not long for life, but I await my time, attentive and mindful. Usaba 197. Putting over my shoulder a robe the color of mango sprouts, seated on an elephant's neck, I entered a village to beg. 198. Descending from the elephant's shoulder, then I felt great agitation. I was agitated, then calm. Again the annihilation of the asavas. I don't know whether this is a real elephant. I don't know what's a monk doing on the elephant's shoulder. Kapatta Kura, 199. This fellow rag, Kapatta Kura, is truly a rag. In a clean jar of the undying, filled to overflowing, a measure of the Dhamma has been put. A place has been made to heap up meditations. 200. Do not nod off to sleep, rag, lest I strike you on the ear. For nodding off in the midst of the Sangha, rag, you have not learned the measure. So he's telling himself he's going to knock himself on the ear if he falls asleep. Kumara Kassapa, 201. Hail to the Buddhas, hail to the Dhamma, hail to the good fortune of our teacher, wherein a disciple will experience such a Dhamma for himself. 202. Through innumerable aeons they have attained individuality. This is their last, this is their final body, connected with the journeying on of birth and death. There is now no renewed existence. Dhammapala. 203. The young monk who applies himself to the Buddha's teaching is indeed awake amidst the sleepers. His life is not in vain. 204. Therefore, a prudent man, remembering the Buddha's teaching, should devote himself to faith, virtue, trust, and the sight of the Dhamma. So this monk is very diligent. When people are asleep, he is still awake. Brahmali. 205. Whose faculties have been quietened, like horses well tamed by a charioteer. What venerable one, rid of pride and without asavas, do even the devas envy. 206. Mine are the faculties which have been quietened, like horses well tamed by a charioteer. Even the devas envy me, venerable, rid of pride and without asavas. Mogaraja. 207. Mogaraja, of evil complexion but noble in heart, you are always concentrated. There are wintry, cold, dark nights. You are a monk. How will you fare? 208. I have heard that all the Magadhas possess corn. I should lie down with a roof of thatch like others in comfort. Visakha Panchali Putta. 209. One should not suspend others from the Sangha, nor object to them. One should not revile, nor raise one's voice against one who has gone to the far shore. One should not utter praise of oneself in the assemblies, not being conceited, speaking in moderation, having good vows. 210. Quenching is not hard to obtain for him who sees the goal, even though it is very fine and subtle, who is skilled in mind, of humble manner, practicing the virtuous conduct cultivated by the Buddha. Chulaka. 211. The fair-crested peacocks cry out, fair-winged with beautiful blue necks, fair-faced and with beautiful song and fine cry. This great earth is well grassed and well watered. The sky has good clouds. 212. There is the beautiful aspect of a happy man. Meditate upon it. A good man finds it easy to go forth in the teaching of the well-enlightened one. Attain that uttermost unchanging state, most pure, subtle, very hard to see. Anupama. 213. The mind, seeking its own pleasure, erecting its own stake, has come. You go only where there is a stake, an executioner's block. 214. I call you witch mind, I call you rogue mind. You have found the teacher who is hard to find. Do not incite me to what is not the goal. So this refers to the time when the monk was not enlightened yet. So the mind was giving him a lot of problem. So he is scolding the mind, witch mind, rogue mind and all that. Vajita. 215. Journeying on for a long time, I have changed from one transition to another, not seeing the noble truths, a blind, ordinary individual. 216. When I was vigilant, the journeyings on were brought to an end. All the transitions were cut out. There is now no renewed existence. Sandita. 217. Beneath the fig tree of green appearance, sprouting, being mindful, I obtained one perception concerning the Buddha. 218. Which perception I obtained 31 aeons ago. By reason of that perception, I have gained the annihilation of the asavas. This perception concerning the Buddha might be the Dhamma he learned 31 aeons ago. And because of that, maybe he remembers the Dhamma he learned. There are some of them, when they struggle, there's no Dhamma in the, maybe at that time, no Dhamma. Or maybe there was the Buddha, but he didn't meet the Buddha, or he didn't learn the Dhamma.